Good
Hi.
morning. Hi. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hi, Kate. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. If following the bouncing ball means that it's sort of popping up all over the place, then I'm doing really well because I'm just gonna follow the ball today.
I understand. I understand. I've been having the morning myself.
But you're in your new home.
Yes, I am. I'm in my new place. And as you can see, I don't have hardly anything on my walls yet, but that will change in a day or so.
Awesome. What
And
is what is behind your head there? What's hanging
I
there?
have some fairies that I saw just in the store.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, those should be on my wall.
It's a real pretty pop of color. It's real pretty. It looks pretty there.
It'll be better once I get a shelf near it and some other fairies around it.
Awesome. Awesome sauce. So we're just getting started here. I know the announcement goes out a little bit delayed, and I can already see there's a bunch of folks in the chat, and we're really glad that you're here this morning. So why don't you guys tell us in the chat what's in your cup of coffee? What's in your cup today? I don't have a cup today, Deb. I discovered that I have to be coffee free, but not caffeine free. So this is not a paid advertisement, but I am drinking caffeinated ice instead of coffee. And suddenly Deb looks like she's a little bit frozen. But that's okay, because I'm sure she will keep coming back to us. She has a funny story to tell about Monkey that may be the reason why she's going out and coming back in. So I want to say hi to everybody. Morning, Scott and Dale Vader and Jackie. Good morning, Janet, to you as well. And I see we've got juice, we've got cream soda. Yum, yum. Love cream soda. There's something about I don't know, vanilla, frothy, yummy flavor of cream soda. What else have we got going on? Have we got any other coffee? Move to tea. So yeah, coffee for some reason was making me feel like I don't know, maybe was developing an ulcer because it was just so kind of hurt after a couple of cups. And I'm not a big coffee drinker, but used to having one with breakfast every day. And so I switched over to a caffeinated drink that was not coffee. And that was kind of a hard thing for my brain to do. It was like, wait a minute. How do I do that? And then we discovered the bubbly water, and bubbly water with caffeine in it was like, oh my gosh, that is just so good because I can have the caffeine without it, making my tummy hurt as it will sometimes for some folks. Welcome back from the holidays. That was a whirlwind. New Year's was a whirlwind. I know that Deb moved over the holiday season, which is really hard to do. But I understand she did it very quickly too. So we'll have to tease her a little bit about that quick move from out of one and into the other, and what did that feel like? It's so stressful to move, and I was in property management for decades, and I remember thinking these folks that are coming into my office are experiencing something as stressful as a divorce or giving birth. It was like it was like, oh, what can I do to help you make it easier? How can I help this be an easy transition from one place to another? And that topic of home and what does it mean to you? So let me just put that out there into the chat. Can you guys tell me how many places in your life have you moved? How many times have you moved in your lifetime? And how many of those moves felt like you were home? So just let me know in the chat, and we'll wait until Deb comes back. Over 30 times, Scott? That's amazing. 30 times to move. I don't know that I could do that. I kind of like all my arty things. Oh, Janet lost count. on moving. Wow. So there's a lot of us that are travelers, or what's that word they used to call for people that not, oh, maybe we're gypsies. We're just one place to the other, and finding our way. I love a good adventure, but sometimes it's hard when there are kids in tow, or hubby that wants to stay in a certain place. And how do you know when the time is right to be picking up and going? I think most of us have a universal push that says, okay, next spot, get ready, start packing. That may or may or not have been your choice to be able to make that decision. That decision was made for you, either through a job or through a commitment, or through job circumstance. And I think that can be a little unsettling to know that forces outside of you are making this movement happen, making this thing happen for us without our readiness or dreaminess, or, oh yeah, I want to go live in that town that I never even knew existed before the day before yesterday. But that's okay because I go with the flow. And sometimes that tension that comes up from not having that power of where you're going to be breathing, not having the input that says, well, wait a minute now, hey, hold on. Maybe I would like to choose next time instead of having someone else tell me where I have to go. And then maneuvering through the finding the place, packing the place, figuring out how to get the place, your box to the new box, and all of those things about having to move to a new location that can be so stressful, and having that underlying feeling like you didn't have any say in the matter, that it wasn't your choice, that it was something outside of you. And yet every time that's happened for me, I have had wonderful psychic type, spiritual type experiences where I had to lean into understanding for understanding that I was needed in another location. That location didn't define me, that my setting didn't define me, that I was in a phase of learning and receiving. So for those of you who are just joining me, there's a funny story that Deb's going to tell or share when she comes back that involves Monkey, her sweet puppy. I don't know if Monkey's a puppy, but Monkey. And I'm not really sure why I'm lopsided again, but I feel like I'm tilted. So you don't need to adjust your screen. What was that television program? It was like, do not adjust your dial. The TV show is going to proceed the way that it is. But Deb will be back as soon as she can. And we just discovered a little glitch right before we went live. So unfortunately, you get my monologue. Which, neither here nor there. It's more fun when Deb's in, but I'll keep going until she does. So saying good morning to Andrea, saying good morning to Jackie. Let's say good morning to other folks that have come in and popped in. Yes, the Twilight Zone. There you go. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. Glad you're here too. So what we were asking was, how many times have you moved? And did they all feel like home? Or did they not feel like home? And I know there's a couple in the chat that have talked about moving like over 30 times. I'd be really curious to know if those were moves that were, was it military? Because I've always heard that people in military have to move a lot. You have to go where you're needed, but they decide for you. You don't get to decide. Especially, I've been thinking a lot about this lately, about home and about people traveling and trying to get home, trying to, the delay, the stuff being all over the country, their belongings all over the place, and hanging out in hotels and feeling like I just want to go home, like that song, that Michael Bublé song, that beautiful song, I just want to go home. And I wonder how many of us actually feel like have not been military related. That's interesting. How many of it feels like you are home and being hugged by your environment? Does your environment support you? Does it bring you a sense of peace and a sense of comfort and safety? Are those things that you think of when you think of home? And if so, let me know. Let me know in the chat. What are your feelings around the walls that contain you while you're sleeping? You know, the roof that's getting pounded by rain. That most of the time, you know, keeps us comfortable with hot or cold or wind. Gosh, this rainstorm that I'm in California, and this rainstorm that we had recently, I seriously thought that the roof was going to fly off. I seriously did. I've never heard the wind sound the way that it was creating this howling noise, this incredible roar. I don't know. Have you guys ever been at the zoo when the first time that I ever heard a lion roar? We were, you know, yards away from the actual lion with the gate up in front of it, and you know, tall metal gating, and he let out this roar that really wasn't even angry or mad or anything. It was kind of like a morning yawn, I guess. But seriously, my rib cage vibrated. It was so powerful. I'll never forget. It was so. I was like, "Whoa!" No wonder he's called the King of Beasts. Look at that, and he's just yawning. But it's intense when the storm is coming, and it sounds like something you've never heard before, something you've never experienced before. And it was interesting to live through 3 days of solid downpour of nothing but the sound of the rain continuously. There was no break in it. And I never understood why people wanted a break in it, because I always loved falling asleep to the rain, but of course there was breaks in it. But this particular storm had no breaks. It was a solid waterfall pounding the roof. So let me take a look what we have here, and hope that my glasses are are working this morning. So we have not military related for over 30 moves. That's incredible. That's just incredible. I mean, other than meeting a bunch of folks, did it kind of also feel a little unsettling? It must have felt a little unsettling. And Scott has a question about profound dreams. I never remember them. Try journals and voicemails, nothing works. Any suggestions? Well, that's kind of a dream detective show, but I will definitely answer that for you. Oftentimes when you don't remember the dream, there could be a couple of reasons for it, and I'll just briefly go through them. First of all, that you got the message, that you understood the message before you woke up. So it's like teaching someone, you know, a subject, and they go, "Oh yeah, got it. Light bulb went on. Cool. I'm good. I've moved into the next level." And then you wake up because you've accepted whatever the information was that you were trying to receive. So for you, rest and relaxation and recuperating, letting the body heal may be the most important, significant part of the sleep world. It's not always about having something significant. Let me put it that way. It's not always something that's supposed to be eye-opening and shocking and oh my gosh. When it is those things, it's important to take a look at them, to not be afraid, to explore where those things go, where those messages, symbols go. But it often can be when there's no memory of the dream, because your body needs to heal and your mind needs to heal. And one more stress added to that, your guides and angels know, will not be cool. Okay, it's not cool to overload your best friend. You wouldn't want to give him your backpack and your mom's backpack and your sister's backpack and say, "Okay, now climb that mountain over there." No, this is for your support. Your dreams are your support, your guides, your angels saying, "Well done. Let's go play. Let's relax." It's not always about having a message that says, hey, I need your attention. You need to hear this. So don't let that bother you. That right now in your life or while you're exploring your dreams, that you're not remembering them when you wake up. Don't let that bother you. It's okay. It's actually, just part of the whole thing, part of the whole story. So one of the fun things we always suggest when you're trying to remember dreams is to ask to have something hysterical, something that only you would think is funny. Have a fun day, a fun night, a fun experience. Trying to figure out the right word. Have a fun experience within your dream state. Yay! You're back. I'm so glad you're back.
I should have gotten this old computer out and updated everything before I got liquid all over my other computer.
Right.
Did you tell the story?
No, I left the monkey story to you.
Oh, thank you. So what happened? What did I miss?
We talked about how many places people have been to, how many times they've had to move. I think the winner in the chat is JL Vader at 30 moves that were not military related.
Jamie,
yeah,
you have moved 30 times?
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
Thank you for, well, since I'm back, I'm going to put the chat up to the beginnings and say hi to everybody since you probably already did that.
It's okay. They don't mind hearing from you. They missed you.
So
they're like, where's Deb?
let me say hi to everybody and I'll tell you where I was.
Okay.
There's Scott. Hi, Scott. Good morning. Dream Detective Kate is here. You can't see it, but in the background, my other computer is flashing off and on. And off and on. And off and on.
It's trying.
I called in Archangel Gabriel before we started, so maybe it will work out. There's Jackie Jacaranda.
Yes.
And she subbed. Thank you. JL Vader, my friend Jamie. Great to see you. You did finally catch a live, and then I disappeared.
It's a magic show.
I know. It's Mercury retrograde.
Yes.
Janet is here. Good morning, Janet. See how far behind I am. Pretty far. Janet says it's lunchtime in Kentucky. Having soup. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5 p.m. in the UK. So you guys were talking about the time, right? Scott's over 30.
Mm-hmm.
I won't ask. Oh, how many moving?
Yes.
Scott's had to move over 30 times.
Yes.
That is a lot. I have moved at least that many times in my life. When I was a kid, my dad, I probably told this story before. My dad came back from Vietnam and he was really messed up. And they moved around a lot. My mom and dad moved around a lot. They were separated and together a lot. So they were married to each other 7 times.
Wow.
And divorced 7 times.
Wow.
And lived together twice without being married.
Oh my gosh.
So we moved a lot. My dad would come home with a truck and we'd start packing.
Oh, it became a normal thing.
I went to 27 different schools. I went to 27 different schools before I got to high school. And I only went to one high school. So
oh my gosh.
There was that.
Yeah.
So I know how to move.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. Good morning, Andrea. Thank you for being here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, who else is here? Yeah, here Jamie says she moved about 30 times. Most of them felt like home, especially the mini moves as a child, except for the new schools. New schools are the worst. Being the new kid sucks. Good morning, Lisa. Thank you for sharing the link.
I went to kindergarten with the same kids that I graduated with. There was very little growth in the area that I grew up in, and everybody knew everybody. And I always felt for the new person coming in to have to, find their way. It wasn't until high school where multiple schools were merging, together into the one high school that I think everybody found their way and understood what it was like to be in a new school, because we'd had all of those years before where with all the same kids. It was all the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of comfort to that. And there was also kind of a lot of feeling like once they pigeonholed you into a specific persona, that they were never going to see you as anything but that persona, through the rest of your life, which, can be good, but it can also just be like maddening. Because if you didn't feel connected to that.
That's good is if whenever you start over, whether it's moving into a new place, going to a new job, whatever it is, going to a new school, you have the opportunity to be anybody you want to be.
That's
because
right.
they don't know you.
That's
so
right.
if they know you, they pigeonhole you into a box, not on purpose, but just because they know you.
Right.
When you go someplace new, you have the opportunity to be anyone.
Right.
You can remake yourself.
Which is really fun, or can be really fun if you're in a fun space.
Yes.
Right.
Or even if you're not, if you tell yourself to be someone that you aspire to be, that's more positive, that's more, whatever kind of qualities that you admire, tell yourself you are that.
Yeah.
And you will become it.
In some ways, it's almost therapeutic. Like I know people that have changed their. Sorry?
Right?
Sounds like.
Are you popping in and out, or is it me?
No. I can't tell if it's the computer glitching or that I need more soda. I think I need more soda.
So did you discuss Scott's dream question?
I did half of it. So I think that he's getting a lot of answers and support through the chat as well. If you ask your guides and angels before you go to sleep to allow you to experience the dream, to remember, because where your focus is before you drop off can often be the focus of where you pick up in your dream. So if you are watching something intense on television or a movie or a conversation, or that's why they say never go to bed angry, because you can carry that energy back in, into that space. Guides and angels and ancestors are wonderful at providing what you ask for, but you really have to know what to ask for. And Einstein said, I could solve anything if I just figured out the right question.
Yes.
So what's your question? What's the thing that you want to accomplish? And if it's simply not simply, but if it's to remember the dream, ask them to show you something that you will remember, so that you'll have that link of knowing that you have been in a dream and been in communication with your guides and angels and ancestors. It's a really cool place to be when that's happening. And I say that just because I love it there. So, I appreciate that I can bring that world into my waking world. And so that link becomes really strong, becomes really confident. But to me, the sleep world and the dream world is a softening. It's a place of safety. It's a place of understanding and encouragement and guidance. And so the question's really important. So if you want to remember the dream the following morning before you drop off, put the intention there that please show me something I will remember when I wake. And it can be just as simple as that. Please show me something that I will remember. And then see what happens.
It's Ron.
Hey,
Ron,
my-
unconditional love. Ron, I'm
Hi,
going to
Ron.
be sending you an email in the next couple of days. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. I'm glad that Ron is with us this morning. That's awesome. I hope that answers the questions for you, Scott. You can always email me at thedreamdetectives@gmail.com if you have any further, you want to go into detail more with it. I'd love to go into it with you. Like I said, it's a beautiful space, and connecting with guides, angels, our higher self, our, one source that, is the reason we're here. And then to, in turn, share that with each other. So, Deb, they're all wanting to know, what did Monkey do this morning?
One more. Wendy's here. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
I hope I got everyone. Well, this morning, about 45 minutes before the show was supposed to start, I walked Monkey, my dog, and I came back in and I was getting things around, trying to make coffee and do a couple of things, and I hear a crash. And so I come into where I'm set up for my little studio today, and everything is wet. I have my Lama Dama here, and then an offering to her of coffee and a little bit of liquor and some stones. And there was a bag full of stones in the cup. And then everything was wet, including my computer. So I tried to dry off my computer. And I didn't realize it was going to take several minutes for it to crash and burn. So I cleaned everything up and crossed my fingers. And sure enough, the computer is, right now it's not doing anything. Right now it's a paperweight.
Right.
So hopefully it will dry out and be okay. But in the meantime, when I disappeared, I scrambled to find my spare computer, and I had not updated it in a while, and it's still trying to sync up and update and all of that. But I did manage to get into StreamYard and got back here. So hopefully by the time we finish here, this computer will be synced up with where I am in real life.
I'm just grateful you had a second computer, right? That you could go to. I mean,
that is, yes.
Yeah.
And this is actually a better computer, but it doesn't have a touch screen, so that's why I don't use it.
Oh, I see.
Because I play a Harry Potter game that needs a touch screen.
What's the Harry Potter game?
It's a Hogwarts mystery role play thing where I'm actually in the 6th year.
Wow.
I'll be graduating next year and probably go into the Ministry of Magic.
Oh my gosh. We'll have to have a party.
Because I'm a curse breaker. And I'm a champion at all of the positions in Quidditch.
Of course you are.
I have trophies to prove it.
I don't doubt it in the least. You are a magical player.
Hi, Teresa. Hugs.
Hi, Teresa. Morning. And Calla Lily, I think Calla Lizzie.
Yes. Liz.
Yeah.
We always yell at each other.
So we were briefly talking about what home means, because of people moving so many places. The whole thing with the royals and Harry discovering that California really is a great place to live.
Yeah.
I guess when you have Oprah as a next door neighbor, that could be pretty good. But we wanted to open up the conversation about home and what home means. And when we say the word home, is it nostalgic? Is it, just something that has to be done, something that has to be? What does that mean? What does that mean for you, Deb? What does home mean?
Oh, did I not finish, Andrea? I'm sorry. Let me just quickly. Monkey likes to be on the table, as you know. And I didn't push the chair up while I was doing things. So he got up on the table and somehow managed to throw a bag of stones, crystals, into a cup with coffee and a little bit of liquor in it. and it sloshed everywhere.
I'm so sorry.
That's how the computer got wet. So he's napping in the sun right now. So that's because he did whatever he was supposed to do.
The magician, the bouncing balls.
Yes.
Everything flying. I'm so sorry, Deb. Please forgive me for interrupting or moving on.
You didn't interrupt me. I didn't realize I hadn't finished the story. Good morning, Joan.
As you can tell, the world is working with some strange energies.
It is. So what it feels like to be home is what we were talking about. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, we were just opening it up.
Opening it up.
It's a topic.
Well, to me, the energy has to be good. If the energy is good, then I will feel comfortable. And it has to be a safe place where I can be open.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't miss the crystal part, Andrea. I forgot to say it. And also, one of my pendulums didn't survive. It's now this and a rock. But for me, the energy needs to be safe, where I can open up and be able to do what I do, be able to see, to understand, to know. I can still do all that stuff if the energy's not good, but it's easier if you don't have to put up so much protective shielding. The more shielding you have, the more difficult it is to get messages.
Yeah.
But shielding's still important, even if it's a safe place.
Right. Exactly. It's all, and I'm reading the chat, and there's some really sweet things happening in the chat. But there is a preconceived idea that because we are of substance, that we are, form, that we have to have that form around us to make us feel comfortable and safe and alive, or even health producing, vitality producing energies. And yet for so many years before we had structures, people lived in the country, people lived in the wild, people lived, outside of brick and mortar, or what is this?
And in isolation.
Construction, I would know what the term is for all of this.
Many times they were in isolation as well. So
yes,
I wanted to say hi to MLR is here.
Hi.
And running away from home is here.
Good morning.
Thank you. I missed being here, and I'm still not completely balanced and where I need to be, but I'm getting there. So it won't take long.
Yes.
Andrea, free the rocks from pendulum work. Yes. Monkey did hear their rebellion. I think that it was a little of that and maybe a little of something else.
Right. Yeah. How did the animals do in the move? They were okay?
They lost their minds for a little while, and they're still not, especially my cat is not right yet. He's mostly blind. So
Oh my gosh.
having the new space, and I don't have everything put away yet, has been
Yeah.
really hard on him. And he's been acting out because of it. Monkey's a little
Oh.
easier to deal with. He's a little more able to adjust.
Sounds like anytime we move furniture around, the Roomba goes, what?
What is that
What?
doing?
This wasn't
Yes.
here yesterday.
Yes.
What did you do?
And so it's the same thing with the boxes. As I unpack a box, it's like, I was using that. Why did you do that? So
Yes.
he everything is his. He claimed everything.
Oh my goodness.
So
Well, my advice to when anyone was moving with animals was always to don't do your laundry. Don't do your laundry for a week. Leave it for the animals so that they can, and spread it around the house, all around the house, so that at least their sense of smell says, oh yeah, I know this smell. I know where I am. I'm okay.
yes.
Because their sense of smell is so acute that they can smell that you are approaching when you're around the corner down the block.
Yes.
So it's like that sense of smell. So take a break. Don't do laundry. Yeah, like that's what you want to do. You want to put everything in order, right? You don't want laundry all over the house.
So I did some of that. And I still haven't washed my rugs yet, which is, I really, really want to wash my rugs. But I'm just trying to, cats can take, months to feel really comfortable. And since he can't see, he's falling off of things. He's running into things.
Yeah.
So he's getting acclimated to. Plus, I don't have anything up high for him yet for territory.
Yeah,
for him to
really
claim.
climb on. Yeah.
So I want to get everything unpacked before I work on that.
Right. Yeah.
So that he can get used to everything else.
Right. Yeah. No, I saw this in the chat that Joan B was reading a book called
House of a Mirror of Self.
Mm-hmm. I haven't read that book. Have you read that one, Deb?
I have not. It says your house is yourself or a reflection of you and your personality. That I believe that's true. Gives out feelings like comfort. Yes. Yes, I believe that too. That it is, it becomes what you.
It holds your energy.
Yes, it does.
It holds your energy. And how you treat it also holds that energy. So if you honor your space, if it's clean, if it's bright, if it's pretty, if it's, all the things that you want it to be, if it's just functional, that's okay too, as long as it's cared for. Because then in turn I don't know, did I ever tell you the story about how we found the house we're living in now?
I think you did, but refresh my memory.
Well, I'll try and condense it because you know me, I can talk. So we were in a tornado where the universe said, nope, you can't stay there anymore, even though that's where you grew up and you know everyone and you know their names and their doctors and their kids and their dogs and their pets and everything else. No, we're going to scoop you up and let you float around the sky for a little while, and then we're going to drop you somewhere. And in that, we don't know where it's going to drop. We started driving around to places that we enjoyed. And I turned to my husband and I said, hey, would it be okay if I named our new house? And my husband said, well, is that anything like Downton Abbey? Because I'm pretty sure the name is already taken and we're not British. So what did you have in mind? And I said, well, I don't know. What do you think about naming our next place that we live in Harmony? Let's call her Harmony. so that it's not just a house, it's not just a home, it's an
Right.
appreciation or an awareness that says this place has energy, and we want that energy to be harmonious, and we will call her Harmony. And I rolled down the window and I yelled, Harmony, where are you? Out the window as we're driving, and turns out that at that corner is where we bought the house. So, I think that in having an awareness that all of it matters, what we look at, what we listen to, who we have conversation with, can either help or hinder our energy as being stable and vibrant. And so, in having Harmony, it's been really an interesting recreation, because John has remodeled her to from a 1950s home to a modern home with built-in stained glass windows, and recessed lighting, and beautiful hardwood floors and stuff. So it's been a project of love and respect for the bones that were already here. And in that has been given back to us, that we feel that it's beautiful, we feel safe here, and there's nothing like it because it's ours.
And the space that it is, where the land it's on.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in harmony with that too.
Right. All of it, all the way around. It's nice to come home. It's nice to have that feeling of being away and having an experience outside of this, especially during coming out of COVID and being able to travel. And I was really blessed that I chose Alaska Airlines instead of Southwest Airlines. But, really, that was really odd because I don't normally fly Alaska. But I was in the airport when they said, if you are flying Southwest, please go home because all the flights are canceled. And that feeling of, man, I just want to put my feet up and pet my kitties and be in harmony, and then walking in the door and going, I mean, there's so much of life that it can rejuvenate by just being in the right place, by having the right conditions, by having the right environment that says you are loved, you are safe, stay here, be here, just be, refresh yourself by just being.
So MLR brings up a good point. I've always been single and never earned enough to be a homeowner, too old now. Does that make a difference in whether or not it's home?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I have owned homes and I have rented homes, and I don't think it makes a difference. It may make a difference in what you're able to do with
Right.
your
Or
property,
the size of the house, right?
or the size, but
Or
it's
the
not.
location.
It doesn't have anything to do with your level of feeling at home.
Right. Well, and they have different weights to them. So being an apartment manager for 20 years, I understood that even though it felt like home, it really wasn't mine. It belonged to someone else, and I was just borrowing it or being in it, right? But I could do certain things with it.
It was your
And
space
yet,
for a time.
yeah, just for a time. And yet having harmony where it worked out so that we could, have her outright, that there was no mortgage,
Right.
was very freeing. It's not the home that I thought I would always have, but it has all the elements of what I thought I would have at the end of the rainbow, right? So if this is the last
Yes.
chapter of me, then it all turned out good, even though there was a tornado to get me here. And that was gut wrenching and heartbreaking and a lot of tears. And,
Yes.
friendships are hard to maintain when they're far away. Although now my closest friendships are all far away. So, hey, live and learn, right? So this new home for you feels good. It feels like home.
It does. And I'm supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that it feels like home. MLR's got an elderly landlord. And the last home, they had 30 days to move.
Mm-hmm.
That can happen.
Yep. I had 10 days.
Yes.
They gave me 10 days.
So that
like,
That's
what?
yes.
Yeah.
So, well, and this place being someplace I was supposed to be, we found out there are never apartments available in this complex.
Mhm.
Maybe they get one a month, and they're not always the right size. So they have 1, 2,
Right.
and 3 bedroom apartments and a townhome
Right.
kind of apartment. It's a small complex, and it stays full because they take care of it and they take care of their tenants.
Right.
So we tried to get an apartment here that we saw, but we didn't realize the necessity to be quick about it.
Right.
We
Yes.
lost that apartment. But we were supposed to be here in this complex. So 2 months later, another apartment became available. So we got wind that it was going to come available a little earlier. We had a couple of weeks lead time. So we watched and we waited for it to actually come on the market. And the first day that it was available, we put in an application and we got it immediately.
That's
Got
so
it.
awesome.
So this is where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And whatever the reason is, I don't know what it is, but I'll find out.
Yes. Yeah. Down the road, it'll surely pop its head up and make itself known.
Yes.
Yes. That's awesome though.
So, but and that it, when I walked into it, I had never seen it. They didn't even have anything to show us. I mean, that's how
Wow.
full this complex is.
Yeah.
So when I walked into it, it looked exactly like I thought it would. And it felt like home.
Right.
And, it's just, I think that has a lot to do with how well you do. But I also think that if you have a home that doesn't feel right, you can probably, in most cases, make it right.
Yeah. Hopefully. It's I remember and there's a lot of sweet messages about how you manifested the they're from
I did,
Gerald.
Gerald. I did manifest
That's
it.
Gerald.
And
Yeah.
someone said to me yesterday that I'm very determined. And that's true. I
It is.
do.
It's awesome.
So,
It's awesome.
I
Yeah.
do have a tendency, if I really want something, I will get it. That doesn't happen real often.
Yeah.
I'm pretty.
Oh.
There's
What's
monkey.
working at?
Monkey. It's okay. They're not here. They're not coming here.
Oh. You're on a different floor too, right?
I am upstairs, and it's a little bit harder for me to ground when I live upstairs. I know there shouldn't be any difference. Nancy.
Hi.
But oops. But there is, to me, I can't, it doesn't feel the same if I'm not downstairs. And I have my whole life lived upstairs and downstairs and all over the place. So
yeah,
it's just, I don't know that it's an actual mental thing, or if it's a physical thing, but I have more difficulty grounding. So I have to be more conscious of it. I have to do it more often. I have to go downstairs. There's a giant oak tree. There's 2 giant oak trees outside my door, right over that way. And so I can go out there and touch a tree. And it has giant gnarly roots, and the limbs and leaves go above the buildings. And so I'm able to ground that way.
Mm-hmm. So for you, grounding means to actually touch nature, to be in touch with nature?
Yes, and to be on the ground. And I can do it energetically. I can do it. It's
Uh-huh.
just easier for me if I can do it on the ground.
See, I've only been taught the energetic grounding tube or grounding cord.
Hmm.
That's the only method that I know. And being on the third floor, or in an airplane, or anywhere that I am, that's the mode for me to connect to the center of the earth. Is
And I
my
still
own.
do that. I can
Yeah,
do that,
yeah.
but it's not as easy. And I think it's because my brain works in a very literal way.
Hmm.
So it doesn't feel grounding if I'm not on the ground.
Huh. Interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. But when you're in your home and when you're in your apartment, practicing that one that's energetic, you know, you
And I do.
can save those flights of stairs. Up and down, up and down. So yeah, it's all of us have these gosh, I don't know why I can't speak today. It's still retrograde, right? But there's this myriad of gifts and how we learn them and how we take them in and how we help us get to that place where centered and grounded and feeling the energy of the earth coming through, feeling the energy of the cosmos coming down, that shimmering yummy kind of energy that makes your skin tingle. It's really fascinating to me how many different ways of getting to the same place has taken that people talk about. It's fascinating to me. It always has been. But I haven't been. I used to, they used to say, "Okay, you finished your meal. Put on your shoes and get out of the house because we don't
Yeah.
want that. We don't want the house to be a mess, right? Go out and play, right? Go out and play. Go out and play." And so for a lot of my life, I was outside and, mostly without shoes because I would take them off the minute that I wanted to just run in the grass or play in the dirt or whatever it was I was doing. And
Right.
yeah, and 9 times out of 10, I would come home barefoot and my mother would say, "Go get your shoes." And I would never remember where I took them off because it just
Isn't that
felt like
funny?
natural just to go barefoot.
Even though I feel like I need to be on the ground, I am not, I'm not, I don't run around in my bare feet. It's not, well, for one thing, I have this weird ability to taste things I step on. So I'm not anxious to step on a lot of things.
Well, yeah, you have to be kind of careful. Yeah.
Yes. And so I've never been one. And when I was a little kid and I would go out barefoot and we had clover everywhere, I had stepped on a bee. And
I
that was
stepped on a bee. Yeah, the
not
worst thing
fun.
I ever stepped on was a banana slug. And that was just like the worst. This
Oh, here's my
gooey,
little guy.
stuck thing that would not come off.
Yes.
There's Monkey.
Yes, there's the culprit.
Mm-hmm. He said, "Mom, I just want to mix things up for you a little bit this morning. See if you
The
were awake."
killer of computers. Yes.
Yeah. So any new plans? Just unpacking and getting settled in. It sounds wonderful. Are you going to have a housewarming event of any kind or?
Oh, probably not. I don't have a lot of friends in the area. I have Angela Cardamansi Mesquite lives near me,
Yes.
and we do things occasionally and visit. And she has set a goal to try to figure out a way to get up my stairs so she can get in my apartment.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So I don't have my son, who is disabled and lives in a wheelchair, cannot come to this apartment. because I can't get a 200-pound wheelchair plus his extra 150 pounds in it
Right.
up the stairs. And even if I could, it's very narrow.
Right. Yes. I remember there was a lot of discussion a few years back about mandating elevators so that the I'm so sorry. I am just
Yeah, but
blanking.
you live in a place where people care about that. I live in Texas. As far as
Yeah.
they're concerned here, people that need services should live under the carpet. We
Oh, I'm
shouldn't
so
see
sorry.
them or hear them, or it's
Yeah.
very difficult to get services. They don't care. So unless it's federally mandated,
But
you know, that
that's where I thought it was going to be where the discussions were happening, because it was the ADA, right? The American Disabilities Act, saying that all places must be, you must make them accommodate that. You must accommodate that in some way. And some of these older structures, they were like, well, where do you think we're going to do that? Or how do you think we're going to be able to do
and
that?
this is an old.
How does that work? Yeah.
This where I'm living was built in 1972. So, I mean, I got in my lease, I had to sign waivers on asbestos and lead paint. That's how old these buildings are. So, yeah, and plus it's Texas. So
asbestos is an interesting thing in itself, and I honestly think that everything that's on the planet is meant for human being in one way or another, other than ants and maybe spiders, but whatever. So when we were taught about asbestos, the thing that stood out for me was that it was used in firemen equipment, emergency services dealing with fire, because the substance itself could withstand degrees of over 5,000 degrees.
right.
And so, they would have an asbestos blanket and go kaboom, and the fire could jump right over them and they would be safe within it. However, when it's in a dust, within a dust form, it can really cause damage to the lungs. And that's partly because of its own structure that it can protect in that heat. So, when I was learning about that, I had the wibbly wobbly mind thing going off, and it was, well, maybe someday we're going to need to have domes that cover us, that can protect us from 5,000 degree heat. Maybe there's a reason why we need to have this and understand this, rather than, I remember as a kid, there was a commercial that was a man and a wife and a kid. He's reading the paper and she's pouring the orange juice, and there's a roaring fire outside their door. And the husband saying, oh, don't worry, honey, we have an asbestos store. And they seriously advertised that it was in the construction materials to protect you. It was to protect you, not knowing that, of course, when it became in dust form, that it would really hurt you. So, and those kinds of elements that you have to sign off on and say, okay, I won't sue you. When in reality, those dust particles can be in any building built before 1971. Building at all.
I suspect that the asbestos warning is for insulation, because this is very sealed up.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a popcorn ceiling?
I do.
Yeah, that's where it is. It's probably in there, and it's probably in the drywall.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, which is why they don't want you hanging, pots and flowers and stuff where you drill up into the ceiling, or scrape it off thinking, I'm going to paint up to this level,
right?
Because it and yet if you get it wet, it's not harmful. So it's a really kind of tricky thing to live with and to have in your house and whatnot. So yeah, I can relate. What was the other one? The other one was
lead paint,
lead-based paint. Yeah, don't eat it.
No.
You eat it and you're in trouble. But as long as you don't eat it, you're okay.
Right. And it would have to be, it would have to be like a remnant, because this place has been totally renovated.
Right. It's probably been covered up years ago.
So
Yeah.
Andrea's saying that Ant is a powerful teacher, and Spider is providing the web vision for our connection globally.
Right. Yes. No, I know they have purpose, Andrea. I'm just pulling something out of the air that said, why is this on the planet? But yeah, that's a good thing to always keep in mind.
Are you taking over the questions? I'm trying to catch up on chat. There's a whole different conversation going on in chat about home, and I mean it's like a side kind of conversation to what we're talking about. Can never relax. Cats have their own ideas. They do about dirt. Yeah, there's a dirt conversation going on too. Dirt and sand. And Jackie has to go. Bye, Jackie.
Bye, Jackie. Thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you. Yes, as humans learning to live with bugs, I have difficulty with bugs too. Some of them don't bother me as much as others.
That's right. Some of those.
And Jamie did move to Iowa recently. You're still there, aren't you, Jamie? Oh, no, that's fine. You're not distracting me. I just, if there's something important you guys are talking about, then we should address it. This is as much your coffee talk as it is ours.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we encourage it. So
MLR loves insects. Some people do.
Yeah. No, it's totally good. It's good all the way around.
It is. And we don't all have to be the same.
Right.
It's not necessary. How boring would it be if everybody was the same? So Jamie's happy in her new home.
Happy in the new home. I wonder if there are traditions that people can share with us and with the chat about, things that they do to honor their new home. If there's some sort of celebration or some sort of blessing or some sort of process that they do that says, that honors the space. Does anybody in the chat have a, what would you call that? A tradition?
A tradition or a ritual or a ritual?
Yeah.
A habit.
Mm-hmm. Let us know in the chat. Like Jamie, did you do something when you first got into the house? When you first got into your new space?
I wanted to quickly acknowledge that Juno was saying that I could make ground by getting a pan full of sand or dirt. And that's an excellent idea.
Yes, it is.
Post-traumatic stress. Yes. Yes. Okay. Let me think of what is one of my things that I do. I guess the first thing I do is I try to get everything in a place so it feels comfortable. I don't usually, personally, because I don't live in places of my own. I'm renting. So I don't usually get an opportunity to connect to the land the way that you would if you had your own property. Always cleanse and smudge the new place. Also, Thayer created an energetic painting as a blessing of peace and balance. And I've seen that painting, and it's lovely. She has it near the the front door, don't you? Where you can see it as you enter into your space.
Mhm.
It's a beautiful painting.
Right.
And I did that too. I came in and smudged and claimed the space and called in my spirit team, and the angels, and I called everyone in and claimed the space as
Mhm.
mine
Yeah.
and
To
made it sacred.
Yes, absolutely. Asked for their energy to be in the space as well. New energy for them to be hanging in.
Joan hangs a string of antique bells from the front door and always plant artemisia herb near my front door with the intent of warding off anything negative. I do something similar to that too. I have charms that I have, and I also generally make a new one whenever moving into a new space.
Mhm. Mhm. I think Juno was mentioning something about her neighbor. Oh, and St. Bridget's. Okay.
St. Brigid's prayer.
Mhm.
Something about her neighbor. Hang on, let me see if I can find it.
My every time we moved, my dad would place a Bible and a mirror face up on the Bible. So we'd have the Bible sitting on a counter and then the mirror face up. I can't do it. I
That's an
can't say what I'm trying
interesting.
to say.
That's an interesting tradition.
He wouldn't let anyone go in for 3 days. And then he would go in and remove the mirror and the Bible. And then
Was that to attract or to trap anything
no,
negative, or to
send it back.
send it back?
To send it back. Yeah. If it would see itself in there, then it would freak out and leave. At least that's what he told us. And it was probably the only type of ritual that I ever saw him do, where he tried to explain it to us, and we went, "Okay, Daddy, whatever," because we just didn't get it, you know. But I do have a suggestion for Juno on this one too. So I have a problem, neighbor. Then I wish to have it away.
Yes. Rather than thinking ugly thoughts, I have started asking the angels to provide him a wonderful opportunity elsewhere. That's so much more effective.
Yeah.
And it's more effective to your peace of mind.
Right.
As well, because you're not harboring that negativity. Is so heavy and hard to carry around.
Yeah. So we had an experience with the neighbor where it was pretty jolting. It was just very jolting. It was very negative. It lingered for a while. And I was taught in psychic classes that if you use roses, energetic roses, you can make them as big or as long or as wide or as tall as you want them to be, and that energy can block the negativity. So even though it's not, you can't see it, I have a wall of roses that is separating me from my next door neighbor, because I want him to pass, if he's passing through that hedge of roses, that the negativity falls behind him and isn't brought into my energy space. And it's worked so far, you know, so
yes,
gratefully.
And, yes, and making sure that whatever you're carrying is yours and doesn't belong to someone else. That's
right. Exactly.
Jamie says that she moves that painting to the living room and she can't decide where it wants to live. Thayer told her that it would have a mind of its own.
That's wonderful. Oh my gosh. How cool is that?
That is cool.
Yeah, it is. I just love all these ideas about how to make your home feel safe and warm and okay.
MLR has a witch's bottle by the door.
You finally did move out. Yeah.
And periodically on a full moon, Juno sprinkles a ring of salt around the outside of the home. I'm not able to do it around the outside, but I do sometimes salt inside. around my doors and windows.
Hmm.
You have a kumquat tree.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Oh, so that the tree is old enough to bear fruit now. There were a couple of other suggestions of things people do.
Okay.
Lisa smudges and salts, especially the bathroom and living room first. Um, Andrea places her tools. Um, I do that too. I'm
Mhm.
I do most of the things that people are talking about. I either do or do periodically
Mhm. Mhm.
as just ways to that. One of my superpowers is protection and shielding, and
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
am always safe. Let me just say that where I am
Yeah.
always. And a lot of people use the imagery like of mirrors. I don't. I astral travel a lot, and mirrors are a little cumbersome and hard to
Mhm.
fly with.
Mhm.
So I use metaphysical glitter,
Oh, that's
and
nice.
I empower the glitter with the same properties as a mirror.
There you
And
go.
so then I throw glitter.
Wow.
And that way I'm protected. Even if I'm not in the physical, I'm still protected.
Right. Yeah. Our living room and our home just keeps morphing. So I don't think that it's by any means finished yet or completed yet, but because there are still several spaces that need redoing. But as it's moving without like injury. It's moving without, some sort of illness happening on top of it, which I've been really grateful for as well. That John has been able to not get hurt by any of the equipment or any of the, cutting of the boards or the this or that, in the
Right.
construction process. So Harmony's been very sweet to us. Even when I thought the roof was coming off, it didn't come off. So she's still there.
Well, you have
So,
a level of protection around your home anyway.
mhm. Yes.
So, and most of us here do. We do have protection and shielding around
Right.
homes, appliances, whatever needs a little extra love.
Well, we are really excited that this has manifested for you. We are over the moon happy that you're in a place
Thank you.
that feels so much better and with so much better energy. And we send you, new home blessings and, welcome home type endearments for you because we did miss you.
I miss being here, and I've been trying to think what story I can tell because I'm going to have a few. And I'm going to let my stories go to darker places because I have darker stories. And
Just
so I think that dealing with those sometimes is helpful. I don't
okay.
want my channel to turn into that, but
Okay.
I think that some of those things need to be addressed.
Yep.
Um, and I want to have fun and be helpful.
Hmm.
And
And we'll see where that goes.
yes,
That'll be our New Year's hope and wish for, the coffee talk or let's talk, however we're going to name it, because I'm not drinking coffee anymore. So it's like, okay, how does
well,
that
that's
work?
okay.
Yeah, that's okay. And I even ordered the mug that said, damn, I woke up sexy again. But it's not here yet. So, oh well, we'll see what happens. But
Thank
the
you,
goal,
Jane.
of course, is for everybody to feel comfortable at the table, to have a conversation that feels, helpful and healing, and you know, all the things that we do when women gather, and men and women gather at the table.
That
It's a
is,
great
yes,
time.
to be the place to be who you are.
Even monkey.
Even monkey. Yes. Yes. He heard his name.
Yeah, see, I'm surprised my kitties haven't trampled the keyboard. Normally, that's what's going on. So, if you guys ever see me in the chat and my chat looks like mishmash, it's because the cat walked along the keyboard and I couldn't get her to stop. But it is good to have you here. I feel more like everything is at home now that you are settled. So,
Thank you. Thank you. And I am, I will be back. I want to have Ron as my first guest on my first, you know, general live show, because
okay.
he was my first guest ever on my channel.
Oh my gosh, that's
And
wonderful. I
then
would love to
after that,
do something with Ron.
it's open to.
Yeah. So that's on the purple, just the regular purple elephant, not on the chat show. Or is it on this show or on a different show?
That's just on the regular.
The regular Deb show.
Mhm.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. Sounds good.
So, well, shall we try to meet again next week?
I would love that.
So,
Whatever works. However
And
we
you
can
want
get,
to
however we
invite-
can invite everybody in, because we sure love having everyone here. It's been lovely.
yes, I moved. Thank you. And I will hopefully be back doing regular content real soon. So,
Awesome.
Juno's going to be on the Crone Zone on Sunday for her first time back in a few months. So
Nice.
we'll look forward to that. And Jane the Seeker is here. Be sure and tune into her on weekday mornings. And until next time, beautiful beings.
Love you. We'll see you next time.